Capricorn, there you are. Well, you've beaten me to it. Well done for you. Capricorn, here we are in time for your Capricorn May 2020 reading. And it's great. Get in there, that'll do it. It's great to see you. And I've been looking forward to doing this. Great to see the subscribers. You know, I send you good energy every month, and you get that. You get that. And in fact, I do it every week, if the truth be known, on Thursdays. So you will find that energy with you on Thursday, your time. Now, I've also done a couple of readings for you Capricorns, haven't I? And, well, I won't mention who you are for your privacy's sake. But, of course, if you'd like to have a private reading with me, just check out the information on the description box below, and it will show you how easy it is for that to happen. But anyway, now we're going to do some tarot and other things and see what there is in store for you this month of May. And actually, the first thing I'll use is these, what I call shadow cards, because they really do get into the shadow self. Now, the shadow self is not something to be concerned about. It just means that light does not ordinarily shine on it, and that's all it means. But it's nothing to, what is that? Love. So that's something which is good to see there. I will also use 3 playing cards. Now, what have I done here? Have I got these on? No, I'm doing them around the wrong way. I don't want to see what they are. I'll use 3 playing cards because I'll probably use these playing cards probably for the last time for the next while. Next month, you see, I might use the Thoth Tarot deck. And the Thoth deck has jam-packed in it a lot of esoteric and mystical symbolism, which it might take some time to explain. There's the 6 of Hearts. So you guys are not supposed to be there like that, so I'll go around that way. And so I may point out the really interesting salient features of it, which is quite detailed, incidentally, and I think that's why many people, I get the feeling, are a little bit afraid to use the Thoth Tarot deck because they're not aware of, or they're not on top of the mysticism or the underlying esoteric teachings and learnings. There's the Ace of Diamonds. Well, 6 of Hearts, Ace of Diamonds. What's this one? And then I'll do the Tarot, right? 2 of Spades. Yeah, so that's what the deal will be. Now, this tarot deck I got from a lady in San Francisco, an artist there whose work I really admire and enjoy. And I wondered what it would be like if she were to do a tarot deck. Well, she has, and this is it. And this is the 9 of Staves, 7 of Cups, Love, Major Arcana number 6, that is to say, which is also Love in that card that you had above, that first card dealing with the shadow self. Fascinating, what? Oh, these have come out. So this is the Chariot. And what's this? 5 of Discs. Okay, now, why don't we get together and have a good close look at the imagery on all of these great cards, and we're going to look to see what they mean together. All right, Capricorn, let's have a look at this card first, hey? The card, the theme of love. Now, I think this might have something important to say, and what am I kind of channeling through this? Love is different to each of us, isn't it? Yet it is still the same emotion felt in varying degrees. The love for a child is pure and nurturing, whereas the love for a partner can be overwhelming and passionate. It's the same base emotion with different conditions and responsibilities attached. Each different type of love is equally as important as the other, filling us with feelings that can't be explained adequately with words. But love is not as unconditional as we may like to think. Love does come with conditions. Conditions that you respect the person and cause them no harm. To protect ourselves from harm,
there needs to be conditions attached to the love we give. To love someone, no matter what, is disrespectful to yourself. It is time to let go of these people in your life as they drag you down and deplete your energy. You know who they are, only you lack the confidence and courage to disengage from them. Your body and your life are sacred. Only allow those whom you respect into your life. Surround yourself with people who can support you through this time of spring cleaning. Life will improve dramatically, and you will find the peace you have been searching for. You will find the love you are looking for, but it will be redefined as a result of this experience. Love is to make you feel better and to make other people feel better. I'm going to deal first with this card here, these minor cards of the 7 and the 7 of Cups and the 5 of Discs first, and then we'll get on to these great cards that lie ahead of it. Here we have the 7 of Cups. Well, this is really for me. Here she is down here, the Lady of Illusory Success. Now I have Venus ruling the 3rd decan of Scorpio, that 13th to the 22nd of November. Venus, as you know, is the planet of love, and Scorpio is about intensity, in-depth transformation, and exploration of self and others. But I see also here, in this number 7, I have a mystical association with the planet of Venus in this numerology here. So I have Venus ruling Scorpio, and I have Venus in the card, and so really Venus doesn't have any handbrake applied to itself coming into this card here. Now the problem is also that in Scorpio, Venus is in detriment, which means its great benefic ability of obtaining joy from relationship, of obtaining joy from emotions, can't be fully expressed. Its sensitivity and emotions are muted. Instead, they can be channeled into negative addictions and intensity, which is the darker side of Scorpio. She's been drawn down by her cups here, hasn't she? Yet she's holding on, and she's been held up by this fish from drowning, so she's still in the game. Now this implies, I think, that we may indulge, perhaps, in excess reactive behavior due to something that has affected us deeply and changed us in a way which throws up its own set of problematic issues, behaviors, or ways of looking at yourself or at the world. Now, sometimes here there can be ill-informed choices that are made. This card really, this energy and where it's placed here, to me, represents the working of Venus in the sphere of the mind, where her influence is by no means clear-sightedness. We believe what we want to believe when we are under such a heavy influence of the planet of Venus. The other thing which I'll say is this, and it is that you can have negative thoughts or depression which are self-medicated, aren't, by excesses. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we can say, look, I feel really down about myself, so why don't I drink or do something about that, which probably isn't all that good for our health. And I think what we need to do is recognize whether or not we have lost control over our circumstances. And this is producing damaging lifestyle choices. You need to get back to who you are and recognize that there are things that you may be troubled by. And by recognizing them and naming them, you will regain your personal power. Is there some disappointment you have not yet worked out? Have you experienced something that was just a little bit too good? Have you overtaxed yourself or overdone things in any way? Have this thought in mind. As I recognize and accept my shadows, they lose their power. Now, the other thing is that this 7 here, with this association with Venus, this is an area also of divine emanation, in which the divinity unfolded itself prior to the emergence of space and time. That area, in a nutshell, is also referred to as victory to us mystics, and therefore you will overcome this period of, I think of being down and out, feeling down and out about yourself. So don't be too concerned by that. Look, seeing that it's a potential issue is half the problem 90% of the problem in solving the issue, isn't it? And you have such good things coming here. Now let's have a look at the 5 of discs. Now here we have what I assume is the Queen of Discs and the King of Discs forming part of a tree in each of their respective cases. The Queen of Discs looks confused, nonplussed. The King is looking over to her as much as if to say, what is it that can be done? I assume that beneath them lie the bones of the dead. But in this card here, I see this is actually a couple talking about material trouble, I suppose. Trouble with material things. Because this 5 here for me has an association with Mars, and I see Mars coming in here causing some trouble. It's associated with instability, and so there's some material loss, even if it's only on paper, I think, that's around you at the moment. Worries, feelings of setback, a lack of belief that things are going to turn around, feeling sort of isolated and, what's going to happen? What am I going to do? Sometimes it can refer to unemployment or feeling down on your luck or even losing your faith in who you are, which you should never do. This is Mercury ruling the first decan of Taurus. And I also have this card is weighing down heavily, weighing down by this slow, heavy Taurus is really what I'm getting. Do you know, I think that we have here this almost like a sort of a pessimism which may have come. Survival fears, and I don't know why there should be issues like that. Problematic communications about things. I think you're kind of worrying about, what is my financial future going to look like? Look, these things have kind of been going on for some time, and maybe you haven't been able to deal with it. Maybe it's something that is out of your control. You may be, maybe there's some situation that you're in that you feel that you can't get out of. Well, worry is about the past and the future, and neither of which can we do anything about. If this was your last day on Earth, would you be using your time to worry about the things that you're worried about? Is there something which is posing a threat to your overall security? That is the Taurus aspect of it. There might be unexpected expenses, it could be job worries, or it may be a disruption in your family life. But understand that worrying, number 1, does nothing, and number 2, can, by not taking action, actually make things worse. But there's other success coming through here in the future. This is really, I don't think, a worry. This is a worry about money, about health, external situations. It's a state of consciousness that always takes you back to the past or forward into the future. But it's presenting worry about how you should handle things really at the present. Look back 5 years and see how things were going then. And I think that there will be a determination of you to do away with this worry within a period of 5, and it's probably 5 weeks, could be 5 months. Now, there is an angel that's associated with this energy here. It's a center of consciousness that I call Chetel. Now, Chetel is one of the 72 names of God. That is, without going into the detail of it, it was derived by the mystics from chapter 14, verses 19 to 21, I think, or 23 of the book of Exodus in the Old Testament. But there's another book of the Old Testament called the Book of Psalms, which has an application to this center of consciousness. And the reason why it does is because that name substitutes for the word Lord in this verse of Psalms, which I'm pretty sure is chapter 95, verse 6 of Psalms, which says, "Come, let us bow down and kneel, bend the knee before the Lord our Maker." Now, I know that sounds strange, but meditating on that verse, it will diffuse negative energy and stress. Purifying light will banish unseen, ominous forces, especially those that are dwelling inside of you. In what areas or situations are you not clear and decisive enough? With which people do you need to clarify things? Have these thoughts in mind. I'm straightening out my life. I am ready to look at my life as it is today and trust in the process of resolving my fears. Okay, now, getting away from these minor energies here. I will actually turn to this one though before I do it. It's another minor energy, and it's the 9, and I think it speaks to what we were just talking about from these two cards. This is the 9 of staves. Now, this 9 of staves with this lady here, with these 9 staves acting as a sort of a halo around her and sitting on top of her serpent that's looking in that direction, and she's looking in that direction. She is, for me, really the lady of great strength. This is the moon ruling the second decan of Sagittarius, the 3rd to the 12th of September. And in the number 9 here, I have a mystical association with another planet. This time it is the moon. So we have the moon in the numerology, and I have the moon ruling the second decan of Sagittarius. So we have a double lunar influence, as the moon rules both the decan and this 9 in the card. Now, what we have here is a determination, a strength of character, courage under fire is what you're going to have now. Courage under fire, defending what you have worked for. That's what I see coming through here. Do you know, you have such good things going for you, Capricorn. I mean, you are practical, you are ambitious, and you are extremely sensible when it comes to do with material things. And so I wouldn't be concerned about this particular card here. This is a card which is about long-acting endurance, this energy. Reach into yourself and discover new depths of strength and power that you never thought you had. Now, of course, you might encounter obstacles, but you will have the strength to overcome them. When the 9 of Wands turns up, this card here, this 9 of Wands, well, it's called staves in this deck, but I always kind of refer to it as wands, I suppose. You can be reassured that you have what it takes to get by, even in times of difficulty, all right? And of stress, because you have inner strength that's going to rise up and guide you towards your goal. Now, in the process, you'll learn more about yourself and your ability and your abilities. They are going to gain a new all-round perspective, which is going to bring you security and self-confidence. Now, pay attention to your dreams at this time. And I ask you, are you a little bit afraid of your own strength? In what areas in your life does this fear come up? Say to yourself, I know more and more clearly who I am. This recognition leads to the full development of my potential strength. Why don't we now focus in on, well, we've got these 2 major arcana to come, so let's have a look at this one in the middle first. This is love. Yes, those little angels sitting down there Well, they are the children of the voice divine, the oracle of the mighty gods. The meaning of this energy centers around the reconciliation of opposites for me. I've got Mercury ruling Gemini. Yeah, Mercury ruling Gemini with Dragon's Head, exalted Dragon's Head, that north node of the moon, which is Rahu in Vedic astrology. I think you need to look at all angles before making a decision on something. I think you could find yourself being a mediator or a peacemaker, and you have a need to look at harmony in relationships at this time. Do you know, I really think that there is the need for you to make a major life decision at the moment. Now, it may not be apparent to you that you are making a major life decision, or it may be, but you will look back upon this time and you'll say, I made this decision and wow, yeah, it was. What is this choice which is on the direction ahead of you that you're going to make? Now, there could be, for those that are interested in it, a mutual attraction and sexual connection here. But again, this is a major arcana card, so it's not likely to be a one-night stand or anything like that, I don't think. I see choices and partnerships being at a crossroads, falling in love, commitment, engagement. I can also see an engagement, a marriage proposal or an engagement that's around here. So you may well hear of something like that. I think that we can also, you can also choose to know something. But when you do, it means you can't unlearn it. It's like the choice to leave the Garden of Eden. It's a turning point. I think you'll have an extraordinary gift in dealing with people of all ages, an acute understanding of paradox and opposition and polarity. And relationship will be committed to unification, I think, during this time. You could actually make a very good therapist, I have to say, looking at you during this time with this period. There are other things I could say about it. I think they're the main things I want to get across to you at this point in time. And let me say, they are the major things for you. Let's have a look at this, the Chariot. Now this is a great card. Yeah, well, here, the boy in the center of the drawing is his own chariot, really, isn't he? He carries on his back the sign of the real I. That is the mark of life and the moral drives of survival and experience. He is strong and needs no vehicle for his adventures. Now, his serpents have 4 heads, but there's really only 3 serpents. Like this, yeah, I think these serpents really represent the human faculty of imagination here. The boy's confidence comes from his imagination. He is telling a story about himself, one in which he is an explorer, a scientist, a hero, a minor god. The human drive towards experience is strong, and it is primarily a force belonging to imagination, where our dream of ourselves may act, have ambition, collect accomplishments to itself. Imagination gives us the ability to change the world. Without it, we are blind both to possibilities and consequences, let alone our own ability to play a role in the world. Yeah, he's good for you, I think, in this month. He is the child of the power of the waters, the lord of the triumph of light. A lot of Cancer around him. Now, I see this as representing victory over adversity. Where did I see victory before? Oh, I saw it here, didn't I? With this Venus-ruled Sephira in this card here. You will have victory over adversity. And I think you'll come through. You're going to come through a difficult period. You're going to overcome it. And you'll find the courage to act. The courage to act, which is important. It's all very well having courage mentally or a desire to act, but you've got to make the action. You've got to do that. You will have success over previous negative patterns, and I think you need to focus on self-discipline also. Make sure you get rest, because there's a time where you do need a degree of rest and contemplation, I see. But look, this is really about moving toward higher goals. It's also about remaining centered and protecting yourself. Overcoming problems, and you'll have success with little or no support, I think. I think what is important to say also is that the oncoming change that's coming through your life, I think, promises to lead to a positive phase in your life. Ready yourself, put your affairs in order, examine the possibilities. I think you're going to leave a lot behind. You will, I think, become a motivator, and you'll have the ability to move people and situations and projects and handle multiple projects, ideas, or interests at the same time. I think you might also need a bit of change in variety, and you're going to have little regard for anything that is dull and boring. You may not always be a detail person, but I think detail at the moment might be necessary to push things forward, even though I suspect that you're going to be, in general, a generalist and want to resist any specialization. Yeah, this is a time of movement and getting things going. Ask yourself, what are the areas of your life that are likely to be changing? Are you ready to ring out the old and ring in the new? Seek or create for yourself a loving, secure environment, and there you can plan the change or journey. I think also that your body needs attention and some activity now. Have this thought in mind. I motivate others positively. I am responsible for what I cause. I accomplish things well and with ease. I am putting my life in order and preparing for the new beginning. Shall we have a quick look at these playing cards? Just a quick look at them. Here is the Six of Hearts. Well, transitions, leaving the past behind, new things to be done, a card of harmony. I think it represents bringing peace and harmony in everyday issues, sometimes compromising to the will of others or accommodating the needs of others. New relationship can form when this card appears. Now, that doesn't just mean a romantic relationship. It can be something else. It can be a new, like a work ally that you may obtain during this period. Excuse me, a useful work ally. It is definitely a time when you're going to be able to overcome obstacles and move towards goals. Now, people may want to confide in you during this period, but be careful of people taking advantage of your good heart. And I do see with this as the opportunity for a sudden wave of good luck. Then we have this Ace of Diamonds. Now, I think I mentioned somebody before could well have been obtaining a marriage proposal or an engagement, so you may well be hearing of something like that, because it can mean a ring or a proposal, but a message to be received about money, which is usually pretty good. A desire or an enterprise in making money may be in the works for you, a change or a message about money, which is usually good news for you. In summary, of course, when I do private readings and psychic things, they mean different things because they kind of act like windows and everything falls in, but it depends on the individual that I'm reading for. And then we have the Two of Spades. Well, the Two of Spades, I think, means that there's a difficult choice for you to be making with respect to something, I think, here. I think it signifies the need to have others in your life at the moment. There's a need for harmony, but there's a difficult decision to be made. Don't let the need for friendship blind you to the truth. I see breaks in relationship, deceit, a break in an important process in your life. Now, it's not a break which is going to be of great concern to you, because it was preceded and had these really good energy cards on top of it, but it's just mentioning that's likely to happen. So that's what they have to say for you, and that is the way it is for you this month.
Well, there we go, May 2020, and I really enjoyed doing that reading for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Do you know, you were fantastic during that reading, as you always are, and the only thing that's left for me to say really is this, and that is that you are a legend, and I look forward to seeing you again next month, and until then, bye for now.